Welcome Wargamers, Doug here from 2 Plus Tough, and we have so much to cover in this video because I am going to be doing a slow grow league online for Conquest by Bellum. It's an awesome game with a lot of really fun lore that I've explored here on the channel, and so in this video what I'm going to be breaking down is what the actual event that I want to be doing is, the different mile markers and points, and milestones, that kind of thing, as well as a giveaway for your very own First Blood army. So stay tuned for all of that. So to kick it off, what is Conquest First Blood? Well, the company Bellum makes one game system called Conquest. The rules function very, very similarly for two independent games. There's Conquest, the Last Argument of Kings, which is the massive army rank and flank kind of game where everything's on these nice big rectangular bases and you move and you pivot and that kind of stuff. The other one is First Blood, which is you take those miniatures off that rank and flank base and they move independently. If you're not familiar, all the Bellum miniatures, even though they have these big square stands, individually each model has its own round base. Well, in First Blood, you just use the round base. To me, I think First Blood is the superior game system simply because it makes list building a lot easier. It's much more intuitive. Your units all start on the field. You can be very aggressive with it, and games go very, very quickly. I just think it lends itself to their core mechanics really, really well. In fact, if you didn't notice on my community page, I've actually started making a PDF document that is transposing a bunch of old Warhammer Fantasy Battle skirmish missions into Conquest First Blood, just rearranging like how the stats work and that kind of thing. But I will have that as a link down below. I only have 2 missions so far, but I am going to be generating more. And if you are a patron of mine on Patreon, you get to see them early. So I love First Blood, and I've really gotten the bug with my local Vanguard as well. We're going to be having some awesome games here on Wednesday nights. So my goal with this whole thing is to just incentivize people to try the game out, because Conquest First Blood, simply because of its size, has a very low entry fee, if you will, in terms of like the number of models you actually need to buy. If you would like to support the channel, I do have an affiliate link. You'll save 10% on anything from Bellum, and they ship very quickly. But it's a much more accessible game version. But let's say you wanted to jump in and join me. Where would you start? Well, the first thing you have to do is get some models in hand. Whether again you get them used online from a Facebook group, I would very much appreciate you using my affiliate link, but you don't have to. If you have a local store, please go support them. Now, the next step, once you've decided to join in, is going to be building your first list. So kind of like your first milestone. For that, we're going to head over to the Bellum website and go over to Army Builder right here in the top. You can see me circling it. And we want First Blood. These are the free list builders with all of the game's rules in case you are curious about factions and things like that. Browse factions literally just means you can look at the rules. Prepare for war is when it actually goes into list building mode. So let's do that. For my faction, I am going to be doing the 100 Kingdoms, and then you can put in the name of your thing. We're going to start our first milestone at 400 points. That's right, name can't be empty. I'm just going to throw a letter in there. And boom, then you add one character. All the characters in this game set are free. And so basically all the points and stuff for them are built into all of their upgrades, and you will want upgrades for your leader. But from here, it really is, you select your character. Let's just pick a mage, and then you have the full roster of the army, and you just build whatever you think sounds cool. I'll go over here and I'll show you my first milestone list. Again, like I said, I am doing 100 Kingdoms. And I have a Noble Lord with the Brawler upgrade. It basically just makes him a little bit better in combat, as well as 2 bodyguards. Because in First Blood, you can kind of give your hero an entourage that moves with him, and they fight incredibly well. This is a devastating unit, and it's only made up of 3 dudes. Below them, I have 2 units of men-at-arms, one with 4 guys, which is the basic size, and one with 6, because you can always add more dudes to a unit, and a unit of mercenary crossbowmen, just to add a little bit of shooting flavor there, just kind of wear things down at a distance. Now, one thing you do want to know, be aware of rather, the profiles and stuff like that for units in First Blood is different to those in the major game, the main one, the Last Argument of King. For example, your basic guy has 2 wounds instead of 1. It's simply to make the game more dynamic. How you apply wounds and that kind of stuff matters a lot more in this. And so model placement, who's in between who, it's just a lot of cool things about this system, and I will talk about it more and more as I go. If you scroll to the bottom, whenever you generate an army list in the Parabellum Army Builder, they do this an incredibly cool thing where it brings together and collates all of the relevant rules to the units that you have. So rather than having to memorize the entire rulebook, it's all on page 2. But that is what I am looking at. Let me show you here down below on the downward cam. It's not too fancy, but I got them all built and primed with a brown. I'm going to be doing a classic medieval theme. I ordered a whole bunch of cool decals, different medieval shield kind of depictions and arts and that kind of stuff, heraldry rather, from a site. I'll give you a review of it once I know that they're good. But yeah, I just primed them all brown and got them all built up. I played my first game with this list just to make sure it's what I wanted to do, because I already had the models. And so me and my local Vanguard went out and played a game last Wednesday. I had an absolute blast against his Wadroon, and I did take the win. There was just enough gas in the engine. These are some chumps. Like, everything is a chump except for my lord and his bodyguards. So it was really fun to like throw units who I knew were gonna die and then just come in with the hammer at the end and sweep some Wadroon off the table. But this is where I'm going to start. Now, in the future, I'm thinking of adding, obviously, knights, as well as a few of the cooler sergeants and things like that to these various units. There are some fantastic models and sculpts by Parabellum. I do encourage you to go check them out. Along with me doing 100 Kingdoms, I have my local Vanguard doing Wadroon, as well as my buddy Rob, who I've talked about a few times with a few other games. He is going to be doing the Old Dominion, which is the Death faction. So my goal, my milestone, is 400 points painted and based by October 3rd, which is when the second video in this series will come out. So mark your calendars, October 3rd, 22. I know time. You're detached from reality, not me. And that's what we'll be doing. So I think we're going to have a wonderful time. Like I said, I do have a collection of missions that I think are a bit more flavorful than the ones that Parabellum has. Although I do know there are missions coming. They've already mentioned that on their Discord. There's a lot of cool things headed down the pipeline for Last Argument of Kings as well as First Blood. And building one doesn't invalidate either. So like if you build an army for First Blood, it does have very realistic translation over to Last Argument of Kings if you wanted to try the bigger game system. Now, the next thing I wanted to mention here is a giveaway. So Parabellum was very kind and sent me a copy of the 2-player starter set for First Blood. Okay, and this one features Wadroon and Old Dominion. They're 2 newest ranges, and they are some of the best plastics they've produced. For honesty's sake, the 100 Kingdoms, their original army, like these and the Spires, are some of their worst model kits. However, the rapid development in their ability to create very sharp detail in kits that just come together perfectly is astounding. So Wadroon and Old Dominion are perfect, I guess you could say, glimpses into what Parabellum is capable of as a design company. The reason I praise them so much is because I'm giving them away. So if you would like a chance to enter and win one of these factions, leave a comment at the bottom of this video. I'll go to a website that randomly picks a comment. Having more than one won't help you. It'll sift out and just go by name. But essentially, I'm going to pick the top 2. Whoever I pick first gets to choose Old Dominion or Wadroon, and then whoever I pick second gets whatever the other person didn't choose. I'll select the comment. I will announce it on... Ooh, when am I going to do that? I think a week. I'll give it a week because I want to make sure I ship these to you, and hopefully you have enough time to go out and actually like build and paint these things by the 3rd. That might be an issue if you're overseas in terms of like how fast I can physically get something to you. But we'll work something out. Either I'll work with Parabellum and have them ship something to you, like I'll buy it and then just have them ship it, or I'll ship you what I have right now. We'll figure it out. But yeah, leave a comment and I will respond to you in the comments, letting you know if you are the winner. And also how to contact me and addresses and that kind of. For the rest of you, if you are looking for a place to start when it comes to First Blood, let me show you something. On their website, Parabellum has a type of product called faction tasters. They call them this because they didn't really want to align these sets with any particular game system. They're just collections of models that you may want to just paint or take a look at. However, because of the size of First Blood games, these actually make fantastic starters for what we're talking about here. So for 55 bucks, you get all of the resources you need to play in a First Blood game. You do. You get a hero, which every list requires at least one hero. And then the kits that they give you are parts of multi-kits, so you can actually build up to 4 different kinds of units for each taster. So for example, right, let's go into our Old Dominion one here. All of these units in this Old Dominion taster, even though it's on pre-order right now, are in the bundle that I am giving away. You could build Legionnaires or Praetorian Guard, or Carries or Moroi, and so you do get a whole lot of unit variety within this little set. So to give you some perspective, right, you can see the number of kits and stuff like that they give you here. I threw this into the army builder. You have the Archimandrite, and then within First Blood, you can take what are called bodyguards. You just add them to their retinue here. And these are incredibly powerful fighters who are very good at protecting their leader and also contributing to a battle. And then, of course, I put 2 units down here. We have the Praetorian Guard and the Carries. No particular preference on any of them, and you can just add models. But you can see we are at 390 out of our first goal of 400. And we haven't even actually upgraded the dude himself, right? So we're going to take those 10 points and give our Archimandrite a little something cool. My point in saying all of that is simply that these faction tasters are a one-stop shop if you wanted to participate and just paint something a little different, or if you really do have an interest in Conquest like I do. It's a great way to get into the game, and honestly, the community, the Conquest community on their Discord is very well managed. They're a very inviting and open community space for all kinds of people who like different things about Wargames. Competitive stuff, hobby things, etc. Like I said, for each of these, you can save 10% by using the discount code in my affiliate link down below. That would be immensely helpful for me as a content creator because it lets me know that this is something y'all are interested in. And as one final reminder, again, please comment on this video for your chance to win one of these 2 halves, either the Wadroon or the Old Dominion, as well as the various booklets and rule books and stuff like that that come with. So I'm going to get to painting on this. You'll be seeing updates on my social media as well as my Patreon. And I do want to thank you for hanging out with me, and I will see you on October 3rd with hopefully 400 points of 100 kingdoms, and I'm going to be pitching my narrative for my force and all this kinds of stuff. We're going to get into it, so buckle up. It's going to be a good time, and I hope you join. Thank you so much for watching, listening, and I'll catch you next time. Happy wargaming.